التي يكذب بها المجرمون يطوفون بينها وبين حميم آن فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان ولمن خاف مقام ربه جنتان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان ذواتا أفنان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهما عينان تجريان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهما من كل فاكهة زوجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهما من كل فاكهة زوجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان متكئين على فرش بطائنها من استبرق وجنى الجنتين دان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان فيهن قاصرات الطرف لم يطمسهن إنس قبلهم ولا جان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان صدق الله العظيم بارك الله فيكم جزاكم الله خيرا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Ramadan Kareem. With the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are meeting you in another night of Ramadan. Ramadan fasting is leaving slowly, and it is very appropriate for us to remember and learn from the teachings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I have chosen one topic but three hadith on for tonight. An Abi Hurairah radiyallahu anhu an قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ومن كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فليكرم جاره. In another hadith قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من كان يؤمن باليوم الآخر فليحسن إلى جاره. In another hadith, in the hadith reported by Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu قال من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فلا يؤذي جاره. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, whoever believes in Allah and the last day, he should respect his neighbor. In another hadith, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever believes in Allah and the last day, he should be kind to his neighbor. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam also said in another hadith, whoever believes in Allah and the last day, he may not hurt his neighbor. Dear brothers and sisters, the neighbors, being kind to the neighbors is emphasized both in the hadith as well as in the Quran. Quran says in Surah An-Nisa, wa'abudullah, worship Allah, wala tushriku bihi shay'a, do not associate anything with Allah, wa bil walidaini ihsana, do good to your parents, wa bil qurba, for those people who are near blood relatives, wal yatama, those who are orphaned, wal masakin, be kind to the masakin, people who are poor, wal jari dhil qurba, and the neighbors who are close to you as a blood relatives, wal jari al junubi was sahibi bil janb, and other kinds of neighbors as well. The ulamas have said the rights of the Muslim for his neighbor is of three. If he has a neighbor who is a Muslim and who is also your your blood relative, and who is a Muslim but not a blood relative, and who is not a Muslim but he is an of other faith, either is a kafir, and they are all have rights upon you. Dear brothers, one of the most uh, important rights upon you is to be kind to them and treat them well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it similar to your kindness to your parents and to your near relatives and to the others as well. So, dear brothers and sisters, it is very, very important that we treat our neighbors very kindly and with understanding that we should not inflict any kind of hurt. In the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, the third hadith that I have told you, that you should not hurt them. You all remember the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ when the Sahaba ta'ala anhum told about a woman who is fasting, praying, and doing all the good deeds, but when she comes out, she is very venomous in her tongue and she hurts the neighbor. And the Prophet ﷺ said, she is not of Ahlul Jannah, she is Ahlul Nar, she is going to the hellfire. Dear brothers, it is very, very important that to maintain our teachings of Islam and respect our neighbors. In Australia, definitely our neighborhood is very, very important. We are ambassadors of Islam. If we are to carry our kindness, these teachings and demonstrate to the neighbors, we are respecting you, we are treating you kindly, we are not hurting you, because our Prophet has said we will win the hearts and minds of the people. Our neighborhoods will be very peaceful and very cohesive. We can all together build a cohesive, peaceful, and happy neighborhood in Australia. I think with that, I conclude tonight's briefing, and may Allah bless us to follow the Prophet ﷺ and spread his teaching in the blessed month of Ramadan and many more months to come, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to the program 6 today. Inshallah, now it is the talk today by Sheikh Isa Mose. Now we hand over to Sheikh Isa.
Thank you, Brother Ifal. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. About brothers and sisters, Alhamdulillah, all praises are due to Allah for keeping us well, helping us not to face COVID-19. May Allah lift it for good from all the world, so that people can go back to their decent lives and the good way they lived, go back there. Brothers and sisters, last night we talked about the fifth Khalifa, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. May Allah have mercy on his soul. And we talked about his wife, Fatima bint Abdul Malik ibn Marwan. Tonight, I'm going to share with you another bit of history. History is very good. History helps people understand the way others lived. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says, فَقُصُصِ الْقَصَصَ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Tell stories that people made, stories that people lived. Tell others so that they may reflect. There is always a lesson to learn from what others do. So I am going to talk tonight about a woman, a great woman we talked about men last night, we have also to talk about the women. A great, very important woman in Islamic history is Zubaydah bint Ja'far ibn Ja'far ibn Abi Ja'far al-Mansur. So al-Mansur, Abu Ja'far al-Mansur, is the founder of the Abbasid dynasty. In Islamic history, we have two dynasties that ruled a long time: Abbasid dynasty and Umayyad dynasty. Those two. This dynasty because they inherited from one another. Every house was leaving its leadership to the children, the grandchildren, and so on. That's why they take the name from those two dynasties. So the founder of Abbasid dynasty was Abu Ja'far al-Mansur. That's his name, al-Mansur. Abu Ja'far is just a kunya. So his granddaughter is what we are talking about tonight. Zubaydah bintu Ja'far ibn Abi Ja'far al-Mansur. Zubaydah is not her name. Zubaydah is a nickname to mean so pretty. She was a pretty girl in the palace of her grandfather. That's where she grew up, and therefore they gave that quality to her, a pretty woman. Zubaydah, that's what it means. Her name was Ammatul Aziz. Amma means a slave woman. Amma is a slave woman in Arabic, but she is not a slave woman to a man, but Al-Aziz. I mean the great God. So she is the female servant of great God. Very good name. Zubaydah, may Allah have mercy on her soul. She was the mother of Al-Amin. Al-Amin is the child she had, and he became a ruler. He became a ruler. Unfortunately, this ruler, Al-Amin, was assassinated, the history says, by his brother called Al-Ma'mun. Al-Ma'mun had another mother. The two are not full brothers, they are step brothers because they have two different mothers. And wherever there is polygamy, a man marrying more than a wife, those families will have always conflict. There is a conflict. But when one has only one wife, there is no conflict. Maybe a very small one between the husband and wife, but the rest no conflict. But when there are more than one wife, there is a feud among them. Al-Ma'mun was a very, very intelligent man. Very intelligent man. Unlike his other step brother, Al-Amin. Al-Amin, and this is why Zubaydah, rahimahullah, wanted that Al-Amin, when he was taking the king leader, becoming the king, she wanted him to be, but Al-Mansur, the grandfather, wanted to give to no, I'm sorry, I mixed up there. The Zubaydah wanted her husband, who is Harun. Harun was the husband of Zubaydah. So he had Al-Amin and Ma'mun. Those are his two children. They are princes now. So Harun, the husband, wanted Al-Ma'mun to be the crown prince, but Zubaydah wanted her son to be the crown prince. The husband wanted Ma'mun because Ma'mun was more intelligent, more able to work with others. He had the royal protocol, but history says Al-Amin was not as good as his other step brother, and therefore she convinced her husband to make Al-Amin the king, after him crown prince, and then Ma'mun to become crown prince. After Al-Ma'mun dies, then Al-Ma'mun takes over. That's how she convinced him. But Harun Rashid, before dying, of course, he had advisors. Every king has got advisors. He had advisors named after a family called the Baramika. It's a big family. That family originated from Persia. There was always conflict between Persia and Arabs, and two sides of Islam. There was always this conflict, even through blood. So Al-Baramika, they wanted Al-Ma'mun to be the first crown prince and to depose the Al-Amin. But Zubaydah convinced her husband, the Harun al-Rashid, that this is what Al-Baramika are doing. They are plotting to finish the royal life, and they will bring other stuff here. She made a good talking to her husband, and the Harun Rashid began to clean up and kill all the Baramika so that they will not do anything. That's how she convinced him. The first thing that this woman did, exactly like that last night we saw the wife of Umar al-Aziz, how she got rid of her gold and everything she had for the poor. Now, Zubaydah, the wife of Harun Rashid, the first thing she did was a project. Her project is called the project of water spring. Water spring. She had this idea. She was a very good man. She was a very good woman, caring for others, caring for the poor, for the less fortunate people. She thought about those people, and her project consisted of providing water and food, starting from Baghdad to Mecca. How many miles? Almost 1,000, more than 1,000 kilometers, and she started this project to give water and food to the pilgrims when they are going to Mecca. That's what she did. It is found in the history. It is still written there. Even I read that even the Saudi Arabia tried to revive that project, but could not do it because today politics don't allow that. They don't allow. Every country says my name should be there, my name should be there. So it could not work. But that is how good woman Zubaydah was for the people of Islam, and especially the pilgrims. So she did that. Okay. When she was starting this project, she asked the engineers, the chief engineer, she asked and said, look, I'm going to allocate all my wealth, whatever wealth I have, I will allocate for this project. Wherever you hit with the axe, when you are digging the ground, you hit with an axe. Wherever you hit with the axe, there is 1 dinar. She says 1 dinar is a gold, 1 dinar of gold. It is there. And she says, let all my wealth finish. All my wealth finish with the last hit that you do with that axe in order to provide water to the pilgrims. That was her idea, that she would put all her money there. Okay, Zubaydah was a close advisor to her husband. As we said before, she convinced him to put when there was the possibility who is going to be the crown prince, as we said, she asked him and convinced him with her good ideas to put her son there. But her husband wasn't happy with it, but anyway, she convinced him to put her son, the crown prince, until her husband dies, to be there. And she convinced him in the way that others are conspiring to destroy the kingdom that you are having today. She made all that idea. She was a rival to the mother of Al-Ma'mun, because that mother had Persian background, and therefore she was resisting that the son of the Persian mother could become next king. And eventually he was made the crown prince, and when Al-Amin got killed, Al-Ma'mun took over. Al-Ma'mun has a very, very big chapter in history. He was part of a controversial event, which at that time was really controversial. It's not anymore now, but at that time, people were debating, is the Quran the word of Allah? Is it the word of Allah? Today, all of us believe it's the word of Allah. At that time, there were people called the Illuminists. They thought with the thinking, they could bring up some argument, and that's why they said, "Oh, Quran is not God's word." And Al-Ma'mun was supporting this thinking. He was supporting that thinking. And that's why Ahmad ibn Hanbal, rahimahullah, stood up and defended that the Quran is the word of Allah. Quran is not created, because that's what they were saying. Quran is created. And if you say Quran is created, means it is not Allah's word. Allah's words. So that is how Ahmad ibn Hanbal defended, and it continued to be a controversy until another prince took over. Al-Mutawakkil, the man called Al-Mutawakkil, took over and stopped that controversy and put people back to the teaching of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So okay. I think I said that one. Okay. Okay, I said many points there. Now, of course, when the project is finished and she saw that people are benefiting from from her idea, people are getting water from Baghdad to Mecca and on the way back, it's a great thing. People need to have ideas because a project comes out of an idea one day and then see how it may work. It may work and may not work, but it's idea in the beginning. It's an imagination. So that's the kind of imagination she had. And when the project finished, okay, she raised hands to the heaven, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, saying, she is saying, accountability is the day of Hisab. The day of Hisab, I will see what I did, whether it was sincerity or whether it was out of show off. Allah will give that account on that day. History says that she spent 1.7 million pieces of gold on that project. 1.7 pieces of gold spent on that project. And then, of course, all the books that wrote how much she spent, how many days work was going on, how many people took part in that project, all the details of that project. When the project finished, she took all those books and threw in the river, in the Tiger River. Why did she do that? So that people later on, even in our time, people would not say, oh, she did this, she did that, she did this, she did that. Books, see how many books are about that project, how many details there are. And that some people say, oh, she was doing maybe for Riyah, show off. And she had a concern that Riyah would not be in the mind of the people who will read this history. And therefore raised her hands to the sama, to the heaven, saying, oh Allah, my hisab is with you on the day of judgment. On the day of judgment. That is, brothers and sisters, in brief, that project that Zubaydah, the wife of Harun Rashid, did undertake. And we took only a bit of that history. She has got a very, very long history, but that is only what we wanted to share with you tonight. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khair for another episode of another great personality in the history of Islam, Sheikh Zubaydah. She was, as you mentioned, very great achiever. And at the same time, as I read, she was very great scholar as well. In Islam, she was in Arabic literature and in the learning of Quranic sciences. She was very, and also she was helping people in a number of ways. As you said, the distance between Baghdad and Mecca, around 1,200,000, 1,200,000 kilometers distance. And I know I read, between this long in the road, the people, pilgrims who go to who went to Mecca, the Holy Land, they found very difficulties because of the sandstorm and such harsh condition. So she, because she very frequently she went to perform Umrah and Hajj, so she made every 40 kilometers a huge resting area with all the facilities, guest room, guest house, and police posts for security and like this. So, and because she found many people are dying in this condition, so she helped them so much. So like that, she made a very great contribution to Islamic. Well, and also one of the important thing I noticed, when she couldn't, she wanted her own son Al-Amin to be the successor, but Harun preferred Mamun. But however, later Mamun came to the position. And at that time, and she wrote a letter to Mamun, and because Mamun, actually there was a kind of conflict between the two boys, two brothers, Al-Amin and Mamun, but Mamun finally he won the skirmish and he became the ruler. At that time, Zubaydah wrote a letter. In the letter, she said, "I congratulate you as the new Khalif. I have lost a son, but he was replaced by the son that I didn't give birth to." So this letter moved Mamun, because even though her son was killed, she still that shows how matured she was. So just to add to that one, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important. A woman of her stature,
yeah,
women of our time may not be able to do that.
that's
If
right.
they were facing similar scenario, they would not. They would react differently. But because she was so intelligent, and in fact she had great learning on the part of the ulama, because two kinds of people she was caring all the time and having a link with are the ulama and the poor people. So the letter she wrote made Ma'mun to come to change his mind and be closer to her, and always forget what the past was about, and be a good son even to her. Yes. Very
Yes,
good.
Sheikh, Jazakallah khair. Let's see if there's any questions related to from the listeners. By the way, I got a question from one of the I don't know if it is a brother or sister, but anyway, the question is about the related to fasting. I'll read it for you, Sheikh. In some countries, the following dua is recited before opening fast. Alham, Allahumma laka sumtu wa bika amantu wa alayka tawakkaltu wa ala rizqika aftartu. So the question is asking, is this dua is authentic? If not, what to say before opening the fast? I think the question is referring to the breaking the fast.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know that dua myself, but all I remember is the dua which is in the Sunan Abi Dawood, which is Allahumma laka sumtu wa ala rizqika aftartu. ذهب الظمأ ذهب الظمأ
وابتلت العروق.
وابتلت العروق وثبت الأجر. Yeah, that's dua I keep saying myself, which means exactly what the other dua also says. The meaning is the same, but maybe the wording is a bit different.
Yeah, I think the couple of phrases were added to what the authentic part of the hadith. So I think always preferable or better to keep to what is authentic in the sunnah. Is that right, Sheikh?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, khairan, inshallah. Let me check if I have any other questions. Yeah, there's one more question. It's about Ayatul Kursi. Is Ayatul Kursi allowed to be recited in fard prayers, as it's only one ayat and minimum 3 ayat are required? Is there anything something like that, Sheikh?
No, there is no hadith which says it must be a surah as short as 3 ayat. It doesn't say. There isn't hadith of that kind. The fiqh books say that after you do the Fatiha, after you recite the Fatiha, read ما تيسر معك ما تيسر لك, whatever is easier for you. It can be one ayah. Surah Ayat al-Kursi is a long one. It's a long one, and it is enough to say in the fard. Yeah, it's a part. It's the Quran. It's the greatest ayah of the Quran. So one can recite it in the fard.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because even there are many other places, very long ayat. For example, in Surah Al-Baqarah, the ayat that talks about the transaction to be written.
All right.
That's,
if you started that one, you have to finish it.
Yeah, that's almost a whole page, one ayah. Alhamdulillah, khairan. Okay, Jazakallah Sheikh, Barakallah, Jazakallah khairan. And so that's all. We don't have any more questions for today.
Sheikh Ajud, there's one hand raised.
I have a question. Assalamu alaikum.
Sorry, well, I didn't see that.
Yes, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, Malik.
Yes, Sheikh Isa. Good.
Jump on.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Assalamu alaikum. Yes.
Alaikum salam. We can hear you.
Okay, Sheikh Isa, quick. My question, just inshallah, in the Ramadan, but about Laylat al-Qadr. This Laylat al-Qadr, as we know, I mean, it's a great night for many people just, waiting. They, particularly in 27, something people expecting, some of the people doing itikaf in the masjid in that night, something special. But exactly the date is not known, just all the time, just, the day from 21, 23, something just, goes to all the way, one of the date. Plus, there is another question that on the Laylat al-Qadr, some people said on that night, we saw some lightning from the sky here and there. I know I heard many people saying that, but is there any regarding the hadith or anything just mentioned about it? I never heard about this, but if you know about this, inshallah, jazakumullah khair, explain.
Thank you, Abdul Malik, for that question. I am delaying talk about Laylat al-Qadr until we reach the 15th of Ramadan. That was my plan. And because if we talk about it now, it will be forgotten. So when we get to, inshallah, the 15th of Ramadan, inshallah, we will have that talk and bring any authentic hadith or any signs about it. We will bring it that time. So thank you for raising that question now, but please forgive us until the 15th of Ramadan, inshallah.
Yes, Sheikh Abdul Malik, you have to come every day until the end of Ramadan, inshallah, to get the answer.
the catch, yes.
Inshallah. Sheikh, we have one more question. It's a very good question, very common question. A lot of people ask this question. It's about, can I ask dua in my language during kunut? I'll say that, can I ask dua in my language? That means any other than Arabic in my kunut. I will also want to add to this question, because some other people are asking, how about in the sujood as well? So maybe Sheikh, you can answer this question now. Other than making dua in other than Arabic in salah, especially in kunut and sujood.
I prefer not to answer now because I don't have full information on it. Yes. But I will research. Inshallah, the answer will be with you tomorrow night.
MashaAllah, Jazakallah. That's a good one, yes. Yes.
Basically in sujood and the qunut.
Qunut, yes.
Yeah. We will bring the answer tomorrow night.
Yeah, barakallah. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh.
Barakallah fiikum. May Allah bless.
I mean, so that's all for now from the question time. So I'll over to Brother Rifai.
Jazakallah khairan for that valuable discussion and the question and answer session. Now, before I come to the next announcement, I just want to ask Sheikh Nawaz to explain that yesterday he promised that he will talk about this yesterday's one question explanation. Sheikh Nawaz.
Assalamu alaikum. The question was about the minimum nisab, minimum threshold of zakat in terms of money. If you have a savings of $6,330.8, then that is based on the gold value of in the market, and you have to pay zakat if you have a savings of more than $6,330.8, or if you have savings of silver equivalent of 467.10 Australian dollars for 1 year, then you have to pay zakat for each and every dollar above that. And this is the announcement from Australian Fatwa Council, headed by Mufti of Australia. And they recommend that if people can calculate their zakat based on silver equivalent, then it will be advantageous for poor people because they will get more money, more zakat contribution. And the zakatul fitr will be minimum is $12. So if you have to pay the sadaqatul fitra $12 and minimum, if you can pay more, may Allah reward you for that. And I will put the this notice, or at least the explanation, in Board of Imams Victoria Facebook, as well as I think WIC can share that as well.
Can you repeat, Sheikh Nawaz, 6,000 the gold value?
Gold value is $6,330.8. So that means 80 cents.
Right.
6,330.80 cents.
Correct.
And then if it is the gold, is
silver.
Yeah. Silver. It is 467.10 cents.
67.10. Okay. Okay.
$67.10.
Okay. All right. Khair, inshallah. Barakallah fiqh.
I think Brother Rifai can share that notice in our WIC Facebook.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh Nawaz, for that information. And we will come to the almost conclusion of this program. As usual, we like to thank you for your participation today. It's a valuable session today. And unfortunately, because of the technical problem, we couldn't do the Facebook live stream. But however, YouTube has been recorded, so that will be posted to Facebook, inshallah. In the coming days, inshallah, there are so many sheikhs have confirmed their participation. In that arrangement, tomorrow, inshallah, we are going to have Sheikh Saeed Wadarma Bulhan. He is the Imam of Al Taqwa Masjid. So, Brother Imran, the next slide, please. So he will be, inshallah, will be there for the tomorrow's talk. Inshallah, we are going to listen him. So the Al Taqwa Masjid Imam Sheikh Saeed Bulhan will be there tomorrow. So with that, I would like to thank you, everyone. Still, you can see this program in the video recorded in the Facebook and the website and YouTube as well. So with that note, we'll conclude this program. Thank you again for watching this and sharing this knowledge. And we thank you all the sheikhs for their contribution towards this program. Inshallah, we'll see you tomorrow, 7:45. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Salam.